Melissa, welcome back to part 2 of our interview. We've talked a little bit about your background, a little bit about what it's like working at a Lutheran school as a teacher.
Yes.
But now I've got a really interesting thing to talk about.
Okay.
Controversial topics, right?
Okay.
To end us off. 2020.
Yes.
The year of years. The year I got married. I like to throw that out there.
Okay, cool.
Tough time. Really tough to schedule everything to have a wedding in 2020 when fear was, at a peak. It was strange. We were kind of talking to venues that were like, well, if you don't have every single person masked, we're not going to allow you to be here. Really kind of a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
We also actually, if anyone knows a little bit about the Tay lore, TAY-LORE, Tay lore.
Oh, okay.
But no, we actually lost our venue for our wedding like
Really?
4 months prior to. We had everything set, so we have like catering, food, everything is set for this one day. Everything is set, and then just like, by the way, we're closing our venue and you can't be here anymore.
Oh,
Like, oh,
awesome.
rough. So we found a place. Don't worry.
Okay.
Riverside Ballroom, big fans over here.
Nice.
So yeah, tough room, tough thing. But that's just like one single event that caused some troubles. What was it like to be a teacher in school in 2020? I know it was a rough year for a lot of people.
Yes.
So what was your experience like?
Yes. So, of course, I remember the exact day when we were told, we were going to be taking, at that time, it was a week off, and we're just going to reevaluate after a week and see if we can come back. And of course, just like everyone else, we couldn't. And yeah, so being a small school up in Bemidji, Minnesota, we decided to do basically packets of sheets for homework. We didn't have the capability of doing online because not every household had internet and, computers and stuff. So that's what we did. And we would come in a couple times a week, put it together. Sometimes we met with just like one family and we did the best that we could. I got to familiarize myself with different technology. Sometimes they would be able to send videos through their parents' phones of different things.
Sure.
But actually, I don't think that was the hardest for me as a teacher was that time. It was actually when we came back in 2020 to 2021.
Oh.
Because at that time, then we had to have everyone masked. I mean, we were in person, but then to have all these students either in masks or the different like shields, that was tough. And especially being a primary teacher where I need to teach how to read and how to make the correct sounds and speech, things like that.
Yeah.
And I have a mask over my mouth so they couldn't see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, speaking, part of learning to speak is seeing the mouth. How does the mouth move when they're saying M? You're like, no, M. You got this mask on. No, you got to purse your lips a little bit.
Exactly, right? And then it's like muffled or they don't quite know. And so like things like spelling tests were difficult because they're like, wait, what is it? Because they need to hear the different phonics of it.
Right. It's not, you can spell it out on the board and say, spell this, please.
Right.
So that's really tough.
Yeah.
You're right. What was it like, too, as a teacher to see the impending doom that was kind of coming? I mean, this is hindsight right now, but I remember working in the clinics in eye care and seeing the news about, well, first of all, hearing people that were sick and they were down and out for like 2 weeks. You'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a cold, relax, and that's what we were thinking at the time because COVID hadn't really been out. We're talking, late 2019.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, you've just got these people that are getting sick and they're out for a while, but oh well, it'll pass just like everything else. And then 2020 gets along, COVID-19 starts to kind of come out, and you're sort of like, well, it hasn't really hit the Midwest yet. It's on the coast. I don't know if it'll move. Well, what's happening here? And then it seems to kind of explode. What was it like I guess, from the teacher's chair, seeing that kind of happen? What was that experience like?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, well, it's going to stay in more like populated areas, like big cities. I mean, Bemidji's not that big, you know.
How big is it, by the way?
It's about, I think it was like 15,000.
Okay.
As I checked. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's the biggest city up there. Like once you leave Bemidji.
I mean, we're talking like the size of like Alloway here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Right. It's not huge.
No, but yeah. And then like the nearest big city was like 2.5, 3 hours away. So yeah. so it was one of those things like, well, is it really going to get to us? Are we really going to be affected by it?
Mhm.
And of course, just like everywhere, it does because things travel. Um, yeah, I think there's just the hard part is a lot of division. You have people on one side believing one thing and people on the other side believing a different. And
Yeah, that's tough.
yep, and everyone's just trying to do the best that they can. So, I think as a teacher, we just try to, you know, obviously educate the child, but also do the best that we can and keep the peace.
Yeah, I had a friend that was a superintendent for one of the school districts around here.
Uh-huh.
I won't name names, but it was talking with that person was interesting because they're like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And they're like, "Well, we sort of have a plan to have a plan, but whatever decision we decide to make, it's going to be the wrong one to about half the people."
Yes.
So like, I don't know, how do we? We're trying to do this. We're trying to look out for what's best for the kids,
Right.
but people are going to be upset either way, and that's a really tough position to be in. So I'm glad that person was there and not myself.
Right. Well, and we're still seeing the effects of COVID with
Oh
the
yeah.
students too. I mean, even the young ones, different things like speech or physical touch, like because we were so distant or
Hmm.
they couldn't see because of the masks, like it's gonna affect them, just like the older kids, missing either a part of like spring semester or
Yep.
the whole year if they were not in school.
Yeah, that was tough. It kind of changed to pass fail. Oh, those seniors. Oh, the seniors
Yeah.
in high school that got completely wiped out. That's rough. Like that's an important time for a lot of kids.
Right.
Rough, rough, rough. So, for the good of kids, based on everything that you've gone through, is there anything that you would have done differently? And I don't want to say like we're not criticizing the school or anything. It's just like magic wand. If I could have done this,
During COVID,
yeah,
you're saying?
what would we have done?
Oh, that's so hard. I think, obviously, being in school is the most important, I think, because they just need to have the social awareness of other students, how to work together, how to have a role model, like how to stay
Yeah.
on task, and for the parents too, because, they need to do what jobs that they have. So I know that some school districts were away for a whole year
Hmm.
and did just the like online learning, virtual learning.
Hmm.
So if I could have had it, I would have had all the students be in person.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
much
it's an important
good.
time. It's just like specifically what you were talking about. Like they're young, you're doing primary teaching, and it's so beneficial to have a person over their shoulder being able to kind of walk through that with them. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. I do.
Yeah.
So there's been a complaint that parents now sort of expect teachers to parent, like quote unquote, parent their kids. Like, is there truth to that at all from your experience?
Yeah, it depends on every situation, of course. But yeah, sometimes we see that where you feel like, it's maybe ideally it would be like a tag team, like teachers
Yeah.
and parents work together for the kid.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's not always the case where you feel like maybe you are trying to do as much as you can, but it is what it is. And like the bottom line is like we try to help the kid out
Mhm.
as much as you can.
Yeah, I think there's you're right. I think there's a healthy boundary that needs to be made with teachers as well, and I think you're doing that very well from what I hear. Because there's I don't know. I've seen these videos of these teachers that they refer to their students as, well, my kids, and they get really kind of, I don't want to say, I'll say uppity. They get very uppity about, well, this is what's being done at home, and I don't think that that's how it should be done, so I teach them to do it this way
Mm-mm.
instead. And then they kind of get in, they'll talk about like the parent teacher conferences that they've had, and they're like, well, these parents don't like it because I tell them to do this, but I'm the teacher, so I tell them to do this. There's like not really a sign of respect there in that matter, and it could
Yeah.
be some of the examples are bad, egregious, and I would agree with the teachers that yeah, they shouldn't be doing that at home. But most of the time, I was hearing things that were completely understandable to be done at home, and they're
Yeah.
saying, nope, it's my classroom, it's my kid, so therefore they do what I say. You're sort of like, I don't know if I can get behind that, and I don't know what your
Yeah.
feelings are about that.
Yeah, and it's important to know, like you said, that background knowledge because while, at first glance you think, well, they're maybe not being the best parent and like, I have all these ideas of what they should do.
Mhm.
You don't know what they're going through too. I mean, that everyone has such a different walk of life. We've had, single moms or we have those that are really young moms or we have, some that are divorced or, they just have so many different walks of life or different cultures too. And sometimes in a different culture, they do different things than you think should be done.
Oh yeah.
So it's, as long as like in my head, like I know a little bit what their home life is, it just helps me to at least better teach.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm thinking like, what does it look like? Okay, parent-teacher conferences. This is all confidential. No one's going to see this. Parent-teacher conferences. What actually goes on in those? I've never been told. I've always been told, hey, your teacher says you're really good.
Yeah.
And,
well,
okay.
I like to use, of course, like an Oreo cookie method, or I call it like a glow and a grow. So,
Okay.
you know, like, do you got, and there is a lot of like good things a student will do. So you like, you know, do like a glow, like, oh, your student's so like patient or participating or whatever it is. But then I was, you know, trying to at least do maybe like 3 of those for every like one grow, because I don't want
Okay.
them to be like worried, but also we all can grow in
Right.
certain areas too.
They're very good at participating, but sometimes they participate when they shouldn't.
See, there you go.
Right? I
Yeah.
gotta think of 2 more good things to say.
Yeah.
But no, that's good, because I don't really know what that looks like. But when you have those parent-teacher conferences, that might be that opportunity to get to know what the parents, or get to know the parents a little bit too. And
Yes.
that kind of, I think what we were talking about earlier, just helps you understand how I can then better serve the child then too. If
Right.
that's good.
And it's easier to have a face-to-face conversation and, you know, to see it versus a phone call or like a text message, just so everyone knows that they're on the same page and you can move on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you again for all of these wonderful answers. You're giving me a lot of insight that I never really thought about. And as we're going through this, like, more questions kind of keep popping up, and
That's
you're taking them
fine.
in stride. Thank you. So everyone watching at home, I just normally send people an outline about what we're going to talk about to keep us on track. And it's more to keep her on track. And now it's my fault that we're going off track.
Oh, that's okay.
So, I'm going way off track today. I love it. But let's get to know you a little bit better. So all these people that are like, I love this woman. I need to get my kid over to St. Paul now,
There you
because they need to
go.
be, I need her to be the teacher. But I need to know about her first. I want to know.
Okay.
So what's her biggest fear?
Okay. Those that know me know that I don't like bugs. Or spiders, you know, insects, things
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, any of that. Like, some of my biggest fears are lice, ticks, like just things like that.
Working in the
I
school,
can't.
afraid of lice.
I know.
Have you ever had a lice outbreak?
No. Oh, outbreak? No, I've never experienced it. But when we were at St. Mark, there
I
was
remember.
some. Yeah.
No, I remember. There's a real big stigma behind that too. It's,
Right. Yeah.
I wish we could fix that too. But I remember seeing, you start to go out for recess, and all of a sudden you see all the trash bags around, all of their book bags.
And then they have to check all the hair.
Sounds like a job for someone else.
Right.
Wow. Is there like a traumatizing experience you had with bugs?
No, I just don't think I ever really liked them. And so I
used to be a fan of them too.
Okay.
For a while. I was one of those, like, I was a bug kid for a while. And nothing big. I'd like try to catch bugs or spiders. And they were like, this is my friend. He's a good spider. And I don't know when that changed. But I don't like them really either. Like,
No.
I'm the man of the house here, so I am forced against my will to kill the spiders.
Sure.
I don't like to though. I have that fear that I'm gonna like go and miss it.
Sure.
And it's gonna jump on me, and I don't know.
Yeah. And I had
thanks.
some in Bemidji too that had ticks on them. Well, it's, a forested area too. So they'd be like, Miss Koenig, I have a tick. I'm like, do you know what to do? And they're like, yes. I said, then go. I'm like, I don't want to.
Then you go take care of it, right? Oh man, I'm not a tick fan either. Just the idea of something like burrowing into me,
yes.
I'm out. I don't want to be there.
No.
What's your least favorite month?
Oh, so I saw the outline you sent me, so I was thinking about this for a while. I'm not a big fan of spring, to be honest. So like April, May.
Why? Okay, why? Why in particular?
Okay, so I love winter and I love snow.
Okay.
And then at that time, everything melts. It gets all like black and brown and things are wet and and muddy. I don't know. And plus, as a school teacher, things get so busy during that time.
Oh, I suppose that makes sense.
And so you have graduations, confirmations, end of school. Like kids are like, we're done. Like,
no, we're not. Not yet.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's got to be rough actually from your perspective. I can get behind that a little bit. I still don't like February. That's gonna always be my
see?
least favorite.
That's my most favorite.
Why?
Well, you see, my birthday's in February for
Oh,
one.
okay. Never mind.
Yes.
That helps.
Yeah, I have a lot of birthdays between my brother, my mom, my sister-in-law.
Gotcha.
And of course in the classroom it's so much fun with like Valentine's Day and like, sharing God's love that way, but also, having some chocolate and we always had the 100th day of school in February. So
Oh, yeah. Okay. So these are all really nice, positive things. Now that glow, this is the area can grow.
Uh-huh.
I don't like February. I feel like I start to develop a little bit of cabin fever around February.
Sure.
And the hardest part is that we've had all these like months of cold normally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to get outside. I want warm weather. I want like nice sunlight again.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a whole month to go. And even though there's only about 28 days in it, it's the longest 28 days ever because it's just like, no, we're not giving you a break. You're going to be cold.
I can see that.
And it's not until March. And I'm not a big fan of March either. Like, let me be clear. But at least in March, every once in a while, you kind of get that like hope of, here's a nice 60-degree day for some reason.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be negatives again, but like, here's 60 degrees. A little
Sure.
gift for you presented on your doorstep.
Yeah. Or sometimes as a teacher, you have a spring break during March. So that's kind of nice. Can
Big fan.
get away. Mhm.
Do you do anything for spring break normally? Or is it just like you crash on the couch for a week and
Well, this is my second year of having one because
Okay.
in Bemidji we didn't. So last year we went to Florida, my family and I, for a week, and that was really fun. And we're gonna do it again this year. So
that is awesome.
yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Oh man. So I think let's get to the real big question, all right?
Okay.
This is dividing.
Oh boy.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Android.
No. I think iPhone's a lot easier to work with.
It is.
I just
It is. I mean, you're right. As far as user usability, yeah, it's definitely like the easier one I think to learn. I've had both, but I switched to. I don't know why I switched to Android. I think it was like a deal, one of those like.
Sure. I mean, I wish like
Yeah.
iPhone had more like storage because
Oh,
it takes so
sure.
many pictures. But
Do you're the picture taker of the family?
yes,
No, good for you. We need one of those.
see,
If you take a peek at all of our photos, I'm never in any of them. It's because I'm behind the camera.
Yes.
One of these days, I'll be in a photo. Or if anyone wants to take a photo of me, feel free. I'm always there. I would actually consider it a kindness for someone to say, "Can I take your picture?"
Oh, good to know.
Yes. What's your least favorite chore to do around the house?
It's a tie between I don't like vacuuming, actually. I think it's because of the noise. I just never did. So when I had my roommate Elena, I would do like everything else as long as she vacuumed.
Just a little overstimulating, is it?
I think so. Between that and then like dusting. I mean, I know we've talked about it too. It's just it's so meticulous.
It is, yeah. And I think that might be a problem just like with us millennials. If you take a peek at like what our parents often had as their like household, there was always knickknacks everywhere. You should see my mother-in-law's house. Lisa, love you. But there's so many knickknacks all around the house. And my own household was not exempt of that either. So, and it was always like, can't I just push them all to one side and dust? Like, no, you have to pick them up, dust them, dust the surface, put it down, do that for everything.
Right.
And I think that's why we're all minimalists now. I can just keep it. But I also hate dusting. That's my least favorite one.
Yeah.
Vacuuming though, it's satisfying when
Really?
you get to, oh yeah, when you're like, you make that one big like push and you're kind of pulling back and you just see like the raised carpet cleaned as you're going through. Oh.
I mean, I appreciate when it's done, but then like to move things out of the way to vacuum. I don't know.
I mean, you're acting like you're moving a boulder.
I know, but sometimes it's just like, I don't want to move that coffee table. So
I don't blame you. I don't want to either. So what was your favorite? This question here, I think we can expand this. All right. So it was originally going to be kick the can or ghost to the graveyard.
Right.
But is there just some sort of outdoor game that you grew up that you liked to play the most?
Sure. Right. I've never really played kick the can or ghost in the graveyard. It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But I always have fond memories of like our neighborhood would get together and like do like a kickball game, things like that.
It was the best.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you remember it at St. Mark?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we like kick it over the roof too?
I mean, that was always the goal. Micah
Right.
Parlow, Pastor Parlow's son, was one of the only 2 people I think I saw that he got a home run and kicked it over the actual church, right?
Yeah.
And but then the downside of kicking a home run like that was that it was your job to go get it.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to put too much power on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got close a couple times myself, but it was always just a bounce off that. It was, it's a vaulted peaked ceiling or roof there, so it kind of just bounces off and comes back to you, and
right.
All is good.
Yeah.
I think that was a double in our days then. I think we called that a double if you hit.
Oh,
who knows? I can't remember. So long ago, apparently.
I know. Yeah. So we did that, or like at the cottage, like we'll do like cornhole toss, or that like ladder one where you throw the rope. With the
I know the one you're talking about. And I also love beanbags. I like to say that I'm the inventor of beanbags.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, but I did grow up playing it from a very young age. I like to consider myself pretty good until there are people that are better than me around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Actually, speaking of games, so I know that they've got what's that game called now? The what's in that big pen?
Oh, Gaga Ball.
Oh yeah, Gaga Ball. That's a pretty popular one nowadays.
Yes.
But do you remember Foursquare?
Oh, we still play Foursquare.
Dude, it's so good.
It's so good.
I love that game.
Although now I feel like they make up different rules than we had back then.
Oh yeah. So it got to constantly evolve, but Foursquare is underappreciated, I think, for like a playground game.
It was so good.
Did you have a celebrity crush?
I think growing up, I watched a lot of High School Musical. So Zac Efron.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those eyes, those steely blue eyes. Oh yeah. I think every guy secretly wanted to be him, but they like complained because they weren't him. So they're like, oh, he's
right. And his character, like he played basketball and he sang. I was like, whoa.
They're giving away spoilers for the first movie. No. Is that first song though? The start of something new. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
How comfortable those two get within seconds. Way too comfortable. Like
and it's just such a good song. So, like, wow.
So is that the song you would do if you had to do karaoke?
Oh, that would be fun.
I would do it for sure. If I could find someone to duet with. I wouldn't do very good, but
same.
I'll do it. Yeah. Why not? 1,000 likes. We'll do it on
camera. Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I should probably answer this question too, just in solidarity.
Okay.
I was a teenage boy, and like that was when like Transformers was coming out, so like Megan Fox right away in those first 2 movies. That was all the boys loved it, So
sure.
Gotta say that was probably who my celebrity crush was right away.
Mm-hmm.
Final question? What was the worst fashion trend that you fell victim to while growing up?
Oh, well, I wasn't really super into different fashions, but like I always felt like I would wear like a jean coat with like regular jeans. So it's like the whole like jean ensemble, which probably wasn't the most fashion forward. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna pause this for just a moment and I'll be right back. This picture, this is what I fell victim to. Did you tell me what you fell victim to yet? What did you say it was?
Oh, like jean, like
Oh yeah. That's what you said, the jean jackets. Everyone watching, I walked away for a little bit because I had to dig around for a photo. I'll post this picture up online so everyone can see, but that is me with a bowl cut.
Yes. Yes.
That was probably my first disastrous. And I'm ashamed to say how long I had that. I think I had that from like kindergarten until like 5th grade, like early 5th grade. Or maybe, I think it was. So like 5th grade. And then I think finally in 6th grade, I went for a different haircut. And thank goodness for that. So that's us, everybody. So yeah, that picture will be up.
I love it.
Yeah, something else, man. Something else. Either way, Melissa, thank you so much for coming and talking with us. Again, part 2 is now over. This has been such a delight talking with you. It's always a delight to talk with you in person, but now that we can do it on camera and expose you to the internet.
There you go.
If you guys are interested in learning more about one of the parochial schools, so St. Mark Lutheran School is available. You've got St. Paul Lutheran School also. If you're interested about any of those, I will have those links on the page. I will also have it on the description. So if you have questions about that, I'll find the website. You can go there. Maybe have a quick chat and say, hey, I know that teacher. She's famous.
There you go.
I know that guy that talked to her.
Well,
He's not famous.
He's
not a teacher, but
I was gonna say, you mentioned that St. Mark is having an open house.
Yeah,
right?
I think that would be in January 9th or something like that.
Oh, it's coming up quick.
I think so, yeah. So I don't know if this episode will be out by then.
Okay. Well, and I was going to say St. Paul has a Winter Carnival, which is kind of like an open house, February 1st.
February 1st? Okay.
It's a Saturday afternoon. So everyone's welcome if they want to come check that out too.
That's cool. I like that. That's awesome. So cool. I'm glad that we're going to be doing that. Anyway, everybody, thank you again for coming in. Remember, here's the important thing. You gotta you gotta share, you gotta get the word out about this page here. We do this all for free. We don't accept any sort of donations or anything like that. We really just want to give you guys content, get you to know the word of God, preach the gospel. We want you to meet people that work in the church, outside the church, see how they live their lives. And this is the way we do that. So if you feel compelled to click share, it takes 1 whole second. It's super easy. Share. Do that for us. In the meantime, I will be back some other day with some other person. Looking forward to that conversation as well. Keep thinking deeply, friends.